Hello and welcome back to No Automation Challenge. Between the episodes I made more superconductors and a small stock of ingots in preparation for this episode. So let's just jump into the first part.
The Nether.
First thing I want to do in this episode is to get a set of armor capable of surviving in the Nether. And the only option for now is an asbestos suit. The suit needs leather armor, so obviously I need leather for it. I could go find cows and get it that way, but animals are rare and there are better ways of getting leather. I just need a drone pad. Thankfully, I had everything to make it, aside from the place to put it with access to the sky. My roof would be a good place, so I made elevators to quickly go between floors. A drone pad needs a drone to operate. Few steel rotors, a butcher's knife, a robot arm, and a battery from the chest, and the drone got assembled. While charging it in a vending machine, I finally thought of making a turbocharger. I placed the charged drone in the pad and set it on a mission. I finished the turbocharger, recharged my tools, and treated the leather. Bound it with string and crafted leather armor. Now I just need some asbestos. I got to the talc vein, found one asbestos ore, and came back. I quickly processed it into foil and chucked it in the assembler with mineral wool. In the last update, something changed about liquid glass temperature, so I can't pick it up with a steel cell. I made a wooden barrel, which for some reason does not have temperature limit, and crafted headpiece of rat suit. When the chest piece was done, I filled it with air and waited for the rest to assemble. I am now ready for the Nether. I made more ladders and 2 elevators for quick travel in the beneath and went digging. As expected, there was a big cave on the way down, and after safely going downwards, I found the lowest place and mined to the portal. It is very frequently bugged, so you need to mine around and look for a place where you can break it. Luckily, I found it, but I was really considering using creative mode. Got to the Nether, made stairs back up, and scanned the ores. There is it. Sulfur in the corner of the screen. Mine the tunnel to it through the Nether. I don't care about suit lifetime. One air tank is 20 minutes and air is really cheap. Got to the tank and started going down until I hit the sulfur. But a lava pocket foiled my plan. Now I was more cautious and didn't fall into another pocket and finally found a vein. I mined a stack and went back to the surface. I will grind it to dust and use it to produce rubber.
Kurwa krzychu! To jest amelinowe! Amelinium!
There's not much else to do in LV, so I guess it's time to make some aluminium. In real life, it is produced by Halhe-ruled process, and it's the same in supersymmetry. Alumina dissolved in cryolite is electrolyzed into elemental aluminium. Alumina is made in an EBF from aluminium hydroxide, which is crystallized from sodium aluminate solution. To get sodium aluminate, bauxite is roasted with sodium hydroxide. The machines I need: a roaster, crystallizer, centrifuge, and an electrolyzer to recycle sodium hydroxide. I need to make another electrolytic cell. The main use for it will be aluminium, but now it will produce sodium hydroxide for me. Aluminium trifluoride and cryolite need hydrofluoric acid, and the only way to get it is to react fluoride with sulfuric acid. I made a full lead drum of hydrogen fluoride, combined it with sodium hydroxide, and got sodium fluoride, which is needed for cryolite. And this is how far I can go without bauxite, which means I have to go mine it. I took a drawer with me and mined a full charge of the drill. It came to nearly 10 stacks of bauxite. I came back and started grinding it to dust. It takes a lot of time to grind one batch, so I made another steam grinder. Now it's twice as fast as before. Finally, I started making aluminium hydroxide and cryolite. Roast bauxite with sodium hydroxide, centrifuge it to purify, and crystallize to get aluminium hydroxide. The first batch of it is used as a catalyst for sodium hydroxide recycling. And for cryolite, I need to smelt the hydroxide to alumina. Alumina needs to be reacted with hydrofluoric acid to form aluminium trifluoride, and the acid is made in bubble column reactor. While filling it with water, for some reason I spilled the bucket and the water exploded my mixer. I made aluminium trifluoride and combined it with sodium fluoride to produce cryolite. Then melted it, and now I can start making aluminium for real. And this is where the boredom begins. Roast bauxite, centrifuge, crystallize, EBF, electrolytic cell, make aluminium trifluoride, and repeat. Each cycle like that takes about 2 minutes to complete, and I need to do it 16 times to get a stack of aluminium. And a stack is not much, so why should I not make 8 stacks and get a trophy for it? And that's what I did. I crafted a lot. With 8 stacks, I got a trophy for automating aluminium without automating it. And aluminium means new machine hulls and motors. I guess half a stack of motors and 16 machine hulls is a good first batch. I had made all cupronickel and copper cables before, so when the rods were done, I assembled the motors. The plates got bent and I could make the machine hulls. The first quests in the MV page are now completed, aside from heat exchanger. Hello, and this is how I would automate aluminium if I could. It all starts here in this roaster where bauxite is roasted in sodium hydroxide. Impure sodium aluminate is purified in this centrifuge and red matte is stored in this multi-tank. Purified sodium aluminate is crystallized in these 2 crystallizers, and impure sodium hydroxide is recycled here in these 2 electrolyzers. Gallium that could result from sodium hydroxide recycling is stored in this drawer, and the sodium hydroxide is looped back into the first roaster. Aluminium hydroxide is processed into alumina in this EBF, and the alumina is sent here. It is split into 2, one to the roaster, some to the electrolytic cell. Hydrogen fluoride from aluminium processing is being outputted here in this output hatch into this bubble column reactor, where it is made into hydrofluoric acid, which is sent here in this roaster, where with alumina it produces aluminium trifluoride. Then steam from aluminium hydroxide and aluminium trifluoride is voided here in this smokestack. And for aluminium you also need coke, which is supplied here with a pipe or a drawer. Carbon dioxide is outputted here in this and voided in this smokestack. And this is how I would automate aluminium. There are 2 ways of obtaining polyethylene: oil processing or ethanol. As oil needs stainless steel for distillation towers, my only option is to make a lot of ethanol. And for that, I need a lot of wheat. It will get boring very quickly to look how the wheat grows, so sprinklers are necessary. I put them on drums placed above fields, filled them with water, and started stacking up on wheat. I'll need a lot of it, but how much? I want to make 8 stacks of polyethylene. I don't have good polymerization catalysts, so I need over 1000 buckets of ethylene. Ethylene is made by reacting ethanol azeotrope with hot sulfuric acid. The acid can be recycled, so it is not included in calculations. Ethanol azeotrope is distilled from impure ethanol at a pretty bad rate. Impure ethanol is made in fermentation vat with grain solution and mash. To produce enough impure ethanol, I need to do this recipe 204 times. Grain solution is made with water and flour, and the mash is from malted grains and flour. So how much seeds and wheat do I need? 3264 seeds and 3672 wheat flour. And would you look at that? By pure magic, I have enough of them. But they won't turn themselves into alcohol. I need to ferment them. Fermentation takes a lot of time, and that's why I will make 4 vats at MV power. Hatches were easy. 8 energy, 4 maintenance, 4 muffler, and 4 input and output. Additionally, 2 ULV input vases and hatches for their circuit and grain solution. The most expensive part of this thing are the casings. For 4 vats placed side by side, I need 147 casings. And each one takes 8 plates. That's a lot of plates to make, and it will take a lot of time. So in the meantime, I started grinding wheat into flour. It took nearly an hour to make all the required casings, but they were finally done, and I finished the fermentation vats. and for mass production I made 6 autoclaves, 4 for malted grain and 2 for mash. But here's a problem. Power consumption. My power consumption in polyethylene line could probably exceed 16 amps, so I need to make another steam turbine. I placed it right under the first one and a heat exchanger beside it. Replaced the main wire with 4X and connected ethanol machines to it. I started fermenting first batch and also machines for the further processing. I thought 4 distilleries, 2 CSTRs and 2 fluid heaters would be enough, and I was nearly right. 1 CSTR was enough. I also made 2 polymerization tanks, and after connecting them to the power, I could start making polyethylene. I have 1 stack left to make of polyethylene, so I will tell you my crafting process. I take the hot sulfuric acid, put it into a CSTR to react with ethanol water, and I make the azeotrope in this distillery. I just use 1, put it here. I wait until all the sulfuric acid reacted, and put it into 1 drum. It all reacted, so I put the diluted sulfuric acid into these 3 distilleries. I take the ethylene, put it into polymerization tanks. I wait until it all polymerizes, and in the meantime I put the mash into fermentation vats. They are currently full. The output hatches are full with impure ethanol, but I'm just for the future. And each cycle gives me like 5-6 dust of polyethylene, so 10-11 cycles for a stack. That is what I was doing for the last 3 hours or 4 even. And finally, after a few hours, I have finally made the last stack of polyethylene. I took the pulp and extracted it into bars. For some reason, the quest needs it, and I want that trophy. I took the extruded bars and took the rest from the drawer, and I had completed the polyethylene automation trophy without automating polyethylene. Hello again, this time I will show you how I would automate polyethylene. It all starts here in a wheat field, where a sprinkler increases the growth rate of wheat. Wheat is harvested by this farmer, and seeds and wheat are sent into this item pipe. Seeds go first into farmer and then to the autoclave to produce malted grain. Wheat is macerated into flour in these 2 macerators. If there's too much of them, they are voided in this incinerator. Flour is sent to this mixer to produce grain solution, and this autoclave where with malted grain it produces mash. Mash and grain solution are fermented into impure ethanol in this fermentation vat, and impure ethanol is distilled into ethanol in these 2 distilleries. Wood pulp from distilling is stored in this drawer and voided here in this incinerator if there's too much of it. Ethanol goes into this CSTR and reacts with hot sulfuric acid to produce ethylene. Diluted sulfuric acid is sent into these 2 distilleries, where it is distilled back into sulfuric acid, which is sent here in this fluid heater, where it is heated up and sent back to the CSTR, closing the loop. Ethylene is sent into this polymerization tank, where it polymerizes into polyethylene. And that is all for this episode. I reached Nether and got trophies for automating aluminium and polyethylene. In the next episode, I will process some sphalerite, make some chrome, and start purifying silicon. If you have any ideas for a challenge I could do in the next episode, feel free to comment it and I will choose one. Of course, they must be obtainable at my tier, so no argon or ruby leaf. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of SuSy No Automation Challenge.